This episode of Says Who is brought to you by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. That's our Patreon, where, you get this most every Sunday. You get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing a little thing we call the Town Watch, which is very similar to what you're listening to right now, only a half an hour and looser and great. And that is available to you if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level at patreon.com/sayswho.
All right. Listen. Hey, books. I wrote one called Death at Morning House, coming out in the US on the 6th of August, in the UK on the 15th of August, and other places at other times. I'm going on tour in the US and you can find out more at maureenjohnson.com, which I'm updating now also with all the UK dates, which are about to be released, but I can at least tell you I will be at the Edinburgh Book Festival on the 25th of August. I forgot the word for August and was trying to call it Sunday for a minute there. So there's that.
That's what they call it in Scotland. So you're correct. August is Sunday.
But the thing is, Dan, in 2024, August is no Sunday. August is like very much going to be a Wednesday, I think, this month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could be one of those Tuesdays that you think is a Thursday.
Oh, I could be a Thursday. I could be a Thursday. You think it's just, I don't know what's happening to me.
Anyway, if you would like to pre-order Morning Death, I was saying Maureen, and then I got into morning.
What is wrong with both of us?
I'll get into it for me. I don't know. If you would like to pre-order Death at Morning House, you can always go to our own little bookshop at kickbezosintheballs.org. That's right, kickbezosintheballs.org, where we sell Maureen's books and a whole bunch of other books, and it's a great little way to do that. If you are buying things on the internet, you can also go to merch.sayswhopodcast.com. I also sell some patches at shop.dansinker.com, but let me tell you, I'm not done selling things.
What?
Because the trailer for the new podcast from Akilah Hughes that I'm the producer of, Rebel Spirit, dropped mere hours ago. And I am appealing to you, listener, person with a thing in your ears, to search for Rebel Spirit and Akilah Hughes on your podcast thing, listen to that trailer, and then hit that subscribe button. So when episodes start dropping on September 3rd, boom, you're ready.
I can't even wait. I actually turned off my internet this morning, so now I know. Now I'm caught up.
You're caught up. That's the story. Go get it. Go get it. The trailer's great. I actually just listened to it before this because I was like, I don't even remember what the trailer sounds like. It sounds great. And the whole thing is great. Come on this journey. And that's you just search for Rebel Spirit or Akilah Hughes on your podcast thing and subscribe to it. It's a biscuit with googly eyes is the logo. So that's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah.
You okay?
I feel insane, Maureen. I have been... do you know the Tony Hawk skateboard video game franchise?
I mean, I'm aware one exists, yes.
So in a skateboard video franchise, the thing is you chain tricks together, right? And you just get more and more points. And that has been my day today. My day is just one giant chain of Tony Hawk tricks where I am just going from a kickflip to a McTwist to a whatever, all in a row. I have been non-stop since 7:30 this morning when I collected my dog's pee in a jar, and it's just been going ever since. I walked in the door, Maureen, before we started recording. I walked in 10 minutes ago, I ate a sandwich, and now I'm here. Let's go.
I can't match your energy.
That's fine.
I'm just welcome. Sometimes I have to burrow my way into it, but it's always worth it. So Says Who, the podcast that isn't a podcast.
It is a coping strategy. I am Dan Sinker.
I'm Maureen John. Dan, do you want to take a breath? Listen.
There's no time.
No, there is.
No time for love, Dr. Jones.
Come on. This is the come on, come through here to the Says Who screened porch. We have a screened porch now.
Oh, that's nice.
And then there's a rocking chair.
Yeah.
There's a glass of iced tea. There you go.
Okay.
Sit yourself down a spell. How do you feel?
I feel nuts. I take it back. It isn't 7:30 in the morning when I collected my dog's pee that I started chaining these events together, because first I got up and I finished and sent the next sticker to the sticker place. Then I had to collect pee. Then I had to drive it to the vet, which we now have a vet that's a little further away. So that's like a whole process. So then I had to drive it to the vet. I had to time the leave. The vet opened at 8. I had to time the leave so that I arrived at 8 so I could turn around, get home to take the little one to his swimming lesson at 9, because I promised him that I would take him to the swimming lesson today. Then we got home from that at 10:25, we had to leave to go over to my mom's house for a quick visit. Then we had to turn back around and come back here. I got back here 10 minutes ago. I ate a sandwich. Now I'm doing this. We're doing this, Maureen, for exactly 57 minutes, at which point I have to stop because I have a call. Once that call is over, I have to go buy shorts because I own no shorts for some reason. And I'm leaving town for Kentucky for the aforementioned podcast with Aquila in the morning. And it's going to be 100 degrees there for the entire week. So I have to go buy some shorts. Then I have to come back. Then the little one has a sports thing later. Then I got to pack. I just realized I started laundry, but I haven't put it in the dryer yet, and I got to remember to put it in the dryer.
Do you want to go put it in the dryer right now?
No, we're good.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, that's where I'm at. How are you, Maureen?
Okay, Dan, and then I'm pretty much embarrassed to tell you that before we recorded this, I was asleep.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Well, what happened was I was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden I felt the uh-oh, and it was a flare. And it swooped over me, and it was just one of those that I think what's happening is that I am now back at Pilates, and it's hard work.
Yeah.
And like I've been to a couple that have been like pretty brutal, and it turns out like it's really good for me and it's making me strong. But sometimes the day after, my body goes, wow. Yeah. And then all these weird signals start to fire. But it usually doesn't knock me out. But today I was like, it's got me. And then I had to lay down for like 45 minutes and sleep. And then I woke up and all the circuits had been reset. Boom, but this is the price of getting strong again. And the great part is that you just extend the working day a little bit. You know why? Because Oscar is here. Right. We're still trying to find our footing a little bit with it's actually
the old unemployment.
It's going pretty well because he's like making his plans, but it is there's a strange cadence to the day because he's here. Like that internal clock that I paced myself around in some ways for the whole time we've lived here. Yeah. Is kind of missing. So I'm like, but all the jobs are mine. So I'm like, I could keep working forever. So like, I can I'm like, hey, I gotta go. Like, I gotta pick up my lunch. I gotta go to work, and I go into my workroom.
That's right.
How's
the work coming?
It's going well. There are just so many things. I know the so many things feeling.
Yeah, there are a lot of things.
There are a lot of things, and really looking at the tour schedule. What's exciting is that there is a time that I would never have been able to keep up with this tour schedule, but now my body can handle it. It's just like I'm mentally
that you don't get COVID again.
Yes, and I'm mentally reminding myself to maybe make sure to rest up a little bit the week before I go.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because it's going to be like a month.
That's a lot.
There's a week in the middle, but it's pretty.
You should take that week somewhere nice.
No, I'm not going to want to go anywhere. I'm going to just want to be here.
Yeah, but think if you could take that week on a beach with just people bringing you little pineapple-based products.
No, it's one of those things that it would be much harder to go somewhere.
Okay.
Also,
I wouldn't
I
mind being on a beach with pineapple-based products.
you're talking for yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is it that part of you is thinking how in about a week's time we're going to watch Trump and Biden debate?
I wasn't thinking about that.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm thinking about that. I
Woof,
don't
right?
want to be doing that. Thinking about it or actually experiencing it.
That's going to be so that's going to I that is truly the saggy ball hour. I mean, it is going to be something.
I read an article very recently about how they are both preparing for this debate. Because the debate is going to be unlike anything we have ever experienced. There is no audience. There are simply two moderators. They have 2 minutes to speak, at which point their mic will be automatically cut off. A red light will flash at them with, I think, a 5-second or maybe it's a 10-second warning. And then they will again have a mic cut off 1 minute rebuttal or answer moment. That thing is going to be an absolute shit show, Maureen.
This is like the world's weirdest game show.
Yeah, it is. Like, Donald Trump does not arrive at his conclusions in a tight 2 minute window.
No.
Like, that man is going to get cut off repeatedly, and I would assume get quite upset by the end of it. But also, then Joe Biden doesn't arrive at things quickly either, and that seems to be so. As one might expect, between the two of them, only one of them is preparing, right? And that would be Joe Biden. And it seems that a lot of what they are training him on is to really get it done in 2 minutes. Trump just seems to be like, it's going to be fine. I'll just riff, but he'll have no one to feed off of, right? Like no audience. It is going to be an absolute shit show.
And yeah, and the no audience thing for him.
Yeah.
You know, that's those two things together. No audience and his mic just shuts off.
Yeah.
I think there's a non-zero chance he just walks off.
In fact, I wouldn't be overly surprised if that's the plan.
Just to leave.
Just to, yeah. I mean, so he has already, complained about the fact that it is, because remember, they agreed to all of this, right? So it is being run by CNN. Jake Tapper is one of the two people. Right off the top of my head, I don't remember who the other one is. He has for the last week or so been disparaging CNN and Jake Tapper. And so he is setting this up as a sort of going into the lion's den kind of a setup. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have at least given him that option. And I think that would play well to his base. The problem is he seems to only care about playing to the base. So, I don't think that would play all that well to the weirdos that don't have an opinion or whatever.
When is his sentencing hearing?
His sentencing hearing is a few days before the RNC begins in July.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, I think it's 3 days before the start of the Republican National Convention.
Oh, Dan, now we're in the soup now.
Yeah, we're in the soup.
Oh, cry. Oh, Dan.
Yeah, we're definitely in the soup. There's like we thought this is like, we're in the boiling frog situation right now. We thought we were just hanging out in this nice cold little pot with some carrots floating around and stuff like that, and we've only now realized that we're in the soup.
What kind of soup is it, though?
A frog and carrot soup.
Oh.
We're the frogs.
Frog and carrot?
Mm-hmm. The old traditional frog and carrot soup.
Oh.
I don't know. You're the soup person. Whip us
I'm
up
the
a
soup
soup.
person.
Yeah, you're definitely the soup person. Of the two
Probably
of us, you're
I am the
the
soup person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it's summer, so I don't love a cold soup.
I hate a cold soup. If I'm
Oh,
dying in a soup, I'm not dying in a cold soup. I'm going to put my foot down right now.
I think that you can get around it by just sort of thinking it like a salsa.
Yeah, but that's the thing to me. Just give me some salsa then.
Right.
If I have to be like, well, it's okay because it's like a salsa, just give me a fucking salsa.
What about something like a yogurty, like a minty yogurty soup?
Yeah. I'm just still not a fan of a cold soup.
A melon soup, like a nice cold fruit soup.
Just give me a melon.
Fruit soup. Fruit soup.
Fruit soup boogie.
Every time, Dan, every time I always think I am a summer person. I love summer, love these long days, the warmth, etc.
Yeah.
And every time we get here, I remember how hard it is to wear clothes out in New York City.
Yeah.
In this kind of temperature.
Yeah, y'all are getting our 90s now, right?
Yeah, and it's going to go up to 100.
Yeah.
It is not feasible, and it's hard to walk your dog because the pavement's too hot.
Yeah. This is a theory that I have, Maureen.
Yeah.
Most people that say they like summer, what they like is late spring. They like 76 degrees, flowers on the trees.
Yeah.
Like
love
all
it.
Of that. What they don't like is 100 degrees. The entire air is some sort of thick soup. And you can't even be outside for a minute. We have that right now. It is 95 or so. It is so goddamn hot. We thought our air conditioner had broken. Turns out our air conditioner did not break, which is great because it just turned out that our house is so old and shitty that when it's 95 degrees outside, the air conditioner is fighting against a 100-year-old house with no insulation. And it is hard to win that battle. But right now it's nice and cool in our house. But we had a guy come yesterday and he was like, it's fine. And we're like, there's no way it's fine. He was like, no, really, it's fine. We're like, everything breaks. It's got to be broken. He was like, no. And then we listed off a list of everything that is broken in the last year. And he was like, yeah, not this, but boy, you have some bad luck. And then he started looking real nervous, like the anvil was going to fall on his head or something.
Yeah, list the things that have gone on with your house this year.
Well, it's really in the last year. Hot water heater, furnace, giant hole in the ceiling. The catalytic converters in our car went out. Our car broke down on the road. There is more that I'm not remembering right now because I've tried to force it out of my head. But yeah, we've basically replaced every major system in the house in the last 8 months, which is fantastic. But not the air conditioning. In fact, it's working pretty damn well. The thing that threw us is we got a new furnace, right? That was the thing. It went out 2 days before Christmas. And we got a new furnace, and it's counterintuitive, but an air conditioner ends up running through the furnace, right? Because the furnace is what actually blows the air into your house. And so we had never run the air conditioner with this new furnace. And this new furnace blows a lot harder than the old one did. And so we were like, something is broken. But it turns out it just blows hard, which makes it very cool and nice in here.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm now that I've gotten used to the volume of it, which you might well hear under my voice because I am
I don't hear it.
Okay, that's great because I'm about 6 feet from the furnace and it's blowing like crazy right now. But it's much more pleasant in our house than it ever has been before. So that part I'll take.
That's great, Dan.
I feel like I'm just going today.
You're
Maureen.
good. You're fine. You're doing great, Dan.
Am I?
You are doing, buddy. You're doing great.
I go to Kentucky tomorrow, where it's even hotter.
Oh,
As I
yeah.
mentioned, I have to buy some shorts.
It's hot in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's the same heat wave that is in the Midwest and now has crept out your way, but it is that much further south, so it is going to be thick and hot. My colleagues on this podcast are going to learn, Maureen, that I'm a sweater. She'd be like, "Are you okay?" I'm fine. Yeah, I went through 3 shirts today. It's cool.
I mean, that's the problem, Dan. Like I've said, because the medical condition I had made me almost completely heat intolerant.
Yeah.
However, it has made me cold adapted like an absolute bastard. Send me up with Shackleton. Like, I'm fine. Like, you could just leave me outside at night and I'll be fine.
You could be the first colonist on Mars.
I could. Like,
You're set for it.
I'm just like really well adapted to the cold now, but the heat, I just get sleepy and sluggish and feel a bit ill.
Yeah.
And I sweat a lot, but probably not as much as you. Like,
Oh, I see.
Well, Dan,
I really am a sweater. It's
like,
awful.
I'm not. I just think it's probably more than you probably.
Yeah.
You probably do. You got the worst big guy sweaty energy. You know, like the.
Yeah. The worst part is the beard kind of acts as a drain pipe. Which is gross. I apologize, everyone. I feel nuts.
I mean, I can see the look. The look in his eyes is like his little pupils are darting around.
Yeah.
They're just spinning.
I feel truly nuts today.
They're sort of spinning in the sockets a little bit.
It is nonstop.
But Dan, why don't you tell us about the podcast again? Give us the line.
The podcast is about Akila, who has been on this show a few different times because Akila is the best. Akila went to school in Florence, Kentucky, which is in Kentucky, but is really a suburb of Cincinnati, is northeastern Kentucky. And her high school's team name was the Rebels. Still is the Rebels, which is the Confederate Rebels. In the 70s into the 80s, actually into the early 90s, they waved the Confederate flag at games.
Fun.
You could buy Confederate flag shirts at their spirit shop.
Fun.
Going through their yearbooks, the Confederate flags on the cover,
Fun.
Just real stuff. And then in the very early 90s, almost certainly corresponding with the race riots that came after the Rodney King beating, they decided that maybe they shouldn't fly the rebel flag anymore. And so they replaced it with a mascot named Mr. Rebel, who was a Confederate general, which not really helpful. Could have been anything. Could have made it a penguin. Didn't. I don't know why a penguin, but why not?
Mr. Rebel?
Yeah, Mr. Rebel, big mustachioed Confederate general, big hat. At the time, the band looked like they were called the Rebel Brigade. They wore Confederate hats, and they had the stars and bars across their chests, but it wasn't the stars and bars, Maureen, as we've been told many times, because it was silver and blue. And so this show is about, so they got rid of Mr. Rebel in 2017, in the kind of the shadow of the Charlottesville white supremacy march, where the anti-fascist demonstrator named Heather Heyer was killed. He was killed by a guy that lived 10 minutes from that high school. Or she was killed by a guy that lived 10 minutes from that high school. And then suddenly, whoop, there goes Mr. Rebel. But the Rebel name remains. So the podcast is about Akila's quest to finally get the name changed from the Rebels, which is an awful part of Southern heritage, to the Biscuits, which is a delicious part of Southern heritage. And so it is that journey, but it is also, there are many sort of side quests down the history of race and school in America. There is a whole big thing about kind of why we love mascots. We got to talk to the guy that designed Gritty, which was awesome. There is a whole little look at other schools, because then the Rebel name is not unique. There are 150 or so schools that have the Rebel name. So we look at other schools and how they changed the names or didn't change the names. It is a remarkable show, Maureen. I am absolutely over the moon about it. It is funny, but it is also poignant, and it will fucking stab you in the gut in the best possible ways, and it is going to light some shit on fire.
You know what would be great is if we had Akila back
We should.
and just talk to her.
Yeah.
Fun times like.
I love it. We should bring her back.
Can I tell you a factoid?
I would love a factoid.
So in Death at Morning House, the main character is Marlo Wexler. And this is relevant, you guys. I'm not just like stopping everything to tell you about my book. But similarly, Death at Morning House is about a girl named Marlo Wexler who is in love with this wonderful, amazing girl at her school and has been in love with her forever, and finally gets to go on a date with her at the beginning of summer vacation and gets her a scented candle that is her favorite smell, which is petrichor. And then
petrichor?
It's the smell of the ground after the rain.
Oh, wow.
That soily, ozony smell.
Yeah.
And in the course of this date, the scented candle, there's a scented candle accident, and she accidentally burns down this little cottage that they're in. And she wants to get out of town for a while. And she ends up getting a job up in the Thousand Islands as a tour guide, because they need one more tour guide at a place called Morning House on Ralston Island, because they're short one. And this Morning House has been closed since the early 1930s when 2 kids at the house died in one day. Yeeps. And it's this mansion that was built by this guy who was a doctor who adopted these 6 kids during World War I. And then they had another child, these 7 kids, this ideal American family.
Yeah.
But what you actually find out is that this ideal American family was really into ideal American things. And in the 1930s, ideal American things very literally meant ideal American in terms of eugenics.
Yep.
Eugenics was super popular. And they used to have like the eugenics tents at state fairs.
Oh, fun.
Where you could go in and get your baby's head measured.
Sure.
And you could be are you the ideal American?
Yeah.
You know, are you of the right, breed?
Yep.
But I need the name for a pretty girl, like the girl this beautiful, lovely girl that she's in love with.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Akila.
Oh,
I was looking, I was like, I just was in my mind casting around, and a picture of Akila went by, and I was like, that is a pretty picture. Akila. The pretty girl is Akila. So I don't know if Akila knows that she is the pretty girl.
I think she probably doesn't, but I might be hanging out with her for the next few days. So
I hope she likes that. But yes, she's the pretty girl.
Aw, that's very nice.
She doesn't do anything bad. She's perfectly nice. Like she's lovely. In case she's like, do I do anything bad in this book? Because sometimes people, no, she's lovely. She's lovely. She's the pretty girl.
That's awesome. I thought you were going in a totally different direction. I thought you were going to talk about eugenics and all of that. The thing that has been wild about this project is even when we think we're not in a situation where we're going to end up talking about racism, we end up uncovering racism. Like it is absolutely, I mean, that is not exactly a massive revelation for the history of America, but it is, to me, the reporting that we've been doing for a year now is just everything you scratch. There it is, right underneath the surface. It is nuts. And
yes, certainly there are people that knew that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Plenty.
And that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that when you're white and in America, then it's like it is everything.
Yeah.
Our apologies for being shitheads.
It is, in fact,
I mean,
everything.
It is swimming pools. It's really swimming pools.
Oh, yeah.
Roads, obviously where you could eat, where you could sleep, where you could live, what jobs you could do, what door you could go through. Certainly schools.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just truly every direction you look.
Yeah.
The swimming pool, like just there is an amazing dollop. I've often recommended the dollop, and it's called the I think the episode title is "The Dark History of Swimming Pools in America," and it is just about the racist history of American swimming and swimming pools.
Wow.
It is mind blowing. It is mind blowing what people would do in terms of swimming pools. So yeah, but the pretty girl's Aquila. That was the direction. But just how much eugenics there was, and just how like, aw shucks it was.
Yeah,
how kind
totally.
of state farm. You know, you went to the state fair and you got your corn, and you chose the biggest pig, and then you got your baby's head measured.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And then you looked at these diagrams of like the ideal family, and like you bred, you know, like
yeah.
Oh, it's pretty bad. And the thing was, because it is for the book, at the first drafts of it, I was really torn about what to do, because if you really do what it was fully like, it's pretty brutal. You know, that there were absolutely American Nazis. There were the Bunds, which were the Nazi summer camps. There were the but just like, even if you get rid of this, let's just say we get rid of the straight Nazi stuff.
Yeah.
We just use the eugenic stuff. It's still completely horrific.
Oh, yeah.
And then you still have a number of questions of like, some of it it's really hard to read.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of just trying to layer it into a story.
Right.
So I had to like keep figuring out the levels to take it up to, because I lifted all the levels, and then I was like, this is too much noise. Like, it's going to be too hard to hear all of these things. So I'll just try to keep these levels adjusted, because, and it gets into things like that goes everything from, say, Charles Lindbergh, who was a eugenicist.
Right. Yeah.
And a great lover of Nazis. Loved them.
Yeah. That dude loved them.
And would go to Germany to breed.
Sure. Why not?
He has a bunch of like illegitimate German children because he would go there to breed.
So you mean the whole search for the Lindbergh baby? He was like, it's cool, guys. I got a whole bunch in Germany.
You know, Dan, truthfully, so if you don't know, Charles Lindbergh's son was very famously kidnapped and killed.
Yeah.
And someone was arrested that some people aren't sure if he was really guilty or not, or if he worked alone. But because of his love of eugenics, there are questions, I don't know how substantiated, about
whether it was a purge.
Kind of. There are questions. Yeah. It's a theory.
This is just Maureen asking questions.
No, it's not me asking questions. It's about other investigators asking questions.
Wow.
But that guy, he loved a Nazi, and he did believe in eugenics very strongly. And Perfect. He would go and he had a bunch of children in Germany with ideal German women. What a hero. America's hero.
Good stuff.
So that's the thing, is like every time you're like, oh, there's our hero.
Yeah. The thing that came up repeatedly and continues to come up repeatedly, because we are still working on the latter episodes of this, is the moment inevitably where I'm like, I just need to check this one thing. Like for this one sentence that we need to say. And then suddenly it's like, what? There was a riot when? And wait, how many people died? And how many days until the Klan showed up? And this was all in the mid 70s. And then it's like, okay, how do we now boil this down to 2 sentences? Because that's all the time we have for this little racist moment, because we got to get to all the other racist moments.
Well, that's why you have a little segment called This Racist Moment, and you just have your little
racist moment.
This Racist Moment is brought to you by Squarespace. No, sorry.
There have been at least 3 times that I have ended up texting Aquila, and I'm like, well, this is our next show, because we can't do it in this one.
It's a bottomless pit.
It is a bottomless pit, Maureen. Here's just one tiny example of that. Was we have an episode dedicated to a school in Denver that used to be a rebels school and then changed recently. And it was like, well, we should probably, we need to just look a little bit into the kind of history of race in Denver. Like, this is our school that it's a good example. And then you suddenly are like, oh, wow, okay. In the late 1960s, Denver was the only school district in the outside of the Deep South to be forced by the federal government to integrate. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. And so then they were like, well, we're going to just bus the students of color all over the fucking city. It doesn't matter if there's a school 10 minutes from their house, they're going to ride 45 minutes in a bus. And it's cool. Everyone, don't worry. We got a bunch of buses. This is all great. Your white kids don't need to worry. They're not going to be affected by this. Don't worry. And then, Maureen, somebody bombed the bus depot and destroyed 25 buses. And I'm just like, I don't even know how to deal with this. I was just trying to write a one sentence.
Also in 1974 and 1975, Boston had a major integration school battle that caused basically riots and fighting in the street for 2 summers. And some guy gets stabbed with an American flag.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's quite something.
This fucking country, man.
I mean, it all of these othering diseases, these diseases of the soul.
Yeah.
Certainly they are not confined to this country. We seem to we certainly love them and like to keep them and bring up new artisanal varieties of them. Or rebrand them, or repackage them, or put them in a shiny new bag. It says it's not racism. It's not it's not racism. It's us trying to restore freedom to libraries.
Right. Yeah.
By taking
it's not racism. It's a war on woke.
I work with Authors Against Book Bans, and again, if you are a writer, if you are an author of anything, join us. Google Authors Against Book Ban and join us immediately. But we are working on a case in Staten Island where a bunch of books were found in the trash with Post-its on them that were basically like, presents white people as bad, like trashed. And all these books had been gotten rid of out of the library. Happens everywhere, all over the United States right now. And we're doing it really more than ever right now. So,
And we sure are.
It's never too late to win, and it's never too late to really just innovate. We're a real golden age of fuckwittery, and libraries are one of the key battlegrounds right now. Libraries and in schools or even in the community. The non-readers and racists would love to shut that shit down.
Oh yeah.
And try to kill people.
Why was that delivered as a song?
Because I'm so happy about it. I just also realized while we were talking that this outfit I'm wearing, I have my clothes on inside out.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I just felt the seam and I was like, that is not where it's supposed to be.
You're sitting there and you feel the seam on your body, just like
on the
suddenly.
Leg. On the leg.
Okay. All right.
Like here. And I was like,
yeah, that is, I can see it from here. That is definitely inside out.
Yeah.
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 You nailed it.
It's because I have the curtains tightly shut in the bedroom to try to keep the bedroom cool.
Yeah.
I'm really absolutely nailing it, Dan. I think I suffice it to say, I am kind of really getting it done in a very, you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, you're doing great.
I would have realized it eventually.
You honestly also doesn't matter.
You can't really tell because the material,
there's a bright pattern on it.
Yeah, it's the same inside and out. You often can't tell which way around it is.
Maybe it is your tribute to early 90s child hip hop act, Crisscross.
Or it is
except they wore their clothes backwards. Not
this is a branded partnership with Disney's film Inside Out. So
there you go. This is your viral marketing
brought to you
for
by
Inside
Disney's
Out 2.
film Inside Out. I didn't see the first one, but I think it's about emotions. Inside Out. Maybe I did see it.
It is.
Maybe in theaters. Emotion. I don't know.
You saw it in theaters?
No, I'm saying maybe it's in theaters.
I think the new one is in theaters. Yes.
In theaters?
Sure. If theaters still exist.
They might exist.
Possibly.
You need shorts.
I do. I have to buy some shorts. I realized I do not have
You
any
need some
shorts
shorts if
currently.
you're going to go fight racism.
I know, because I gotta not be too sweaty.
You got to wear those no Nazi shorts.
Exactly. There is a German football team, Maureen, called St. Pauli. They are traditionally in the Bundesliga 2, which is like the lower level, but they just they just won and got promoted to the Bundesliga, so they are in the largest football league in Germany. And they are explicitly anti-fascist. You can buy from their team shop like scarves with fists crushing swastikas. And I mean, it is amazing. Their actual logo is like a skull and crossbones. It is absolutely, truly wild that they are now like going to be playing, giant teams
I don't hate that at all.
real TV. Yeah, it is super cool. I'm very excited. I as has been documented on this show before, I have been dabbling in football like the rest of the world enjoys for the last year and a bit. And early on, people were like, "Well, you need to get into St. Pauli," and I'm like, I am not getting into like a small German club that I can never watch. Like that seems very hard. But it is. I'm thrilled for them. I'm thrilled for their many anarcho fans and their anti-fascist fans, and it is going to be very interesting to see the culture clash between this team and these, big money teams across Germany.
Sounds like I have a new accessory for fall.
Yeah, they are like real deal. Like,
all right, I have to look this up. Oh, yeah. Whoa.
They don't mess around.
Huh. Nice. Whoa. Wow. Look at that. I don't hate that at all.
No, they're good.
Is it also theirs that says no gods, no masters?
Are you on their actual shop?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Could be.
But yeah, those are some St. Pauli anti-fascist, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I like football now.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, I like football now, I guess.
Yeah. Join the club. It's fun.
Whoa.
And you can beat up some fascists while you're at it.
Those are truly like so much more extreme than I...
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. All right, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and now they're like playing, Bayern Munich and stuff like some of the biggest football clubs in the world. They now will play them.
Wir spielen Fußball, Mr. Anti-Fascist.
With their all their fans waving giant skull and crossbone flags, and yeah,
playing Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, that's really, really something.
I've always wondered, what is your stance on Rage Against the Machine?
Mine?
Yeah.
They're fine. Like, they're good dudes. Their main moment was when I was heavily against kind of major label acts, and they were a major label act. So I always kind of felt like a little sus on them. And then a friend of mine was in a this is like in the early 2000s. They were in sort of a radical organization that broke sanctions against Iraq by traveling into Iraq with sanctioned things, medicine and stuff like that. And he was invited by Tom Morello to table at their show in at what at the time I think was the Rosemont Horizon and is now the Allstate Arena, like the big arena just outside Chicago where big mega acts play. And he was like, "Hey, come table with me." And I was like, "Well, that sounds insane. Sure, I'll do it." And it was very strange because this was I want to say well, it had to be post 9/11, right? So you had a whole renewed kind of Iraq is the enemy. And the amount of shit that we were getting from the fans of the band. And we just kept being like, do you listen to the words or do you just enjoy yelling, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me? Right?
Ugh.
Like that. So that was kind of a hard pill to swallow, especially because I was fairly cynical about them to begin with. Since then, I have met many people that know Tom and know Zach and speak the world of them as legitimately incredibly good people. They have put their money in very good places. You know, they have used their notoriety for good things. So, I think it is more of a I have grown and I realize that the world is complicated and that they have done well. But I will always feel a little bit weird because that was such a strange experience to be tabling at this, you know, quasi radical band and being just yelled at by people for the entire night.
I did a table somewhere. What organization was I working for? It was something that you wouldn't expect. I honestly can't remember what I was working for. But I was invited. They like we need volunteers to work and get collections at a Shania Twain concert.
Oh wow.
And I'm not bless her. I'm not a Shania Twain fan. I don't have anything against Shania Twain either.
Sure.
It's just not my style of music. But I'm like,
yeah,
there's no. But if you're like a Shania Twain fan, I'm like, that's great. It's just you know perfect, no problems. But I had to like seem like I felt like, you know, I was trying to blend in as a Shania Twain fan for the night.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how to do this really, but they're like, the people come out and I would be like, Shania wanted us here. She loves us. And they're like, great. It was very weird. It was like it was some very good cause. I can't remember what it was. It's so weird that I can't remember what I was there for, but I was at a Shania Twain concert. I was like, what am I doing at this Shania Twain concert?
That's the most I've heard someone say the word Shania Twain in a very long time.
All I know about Shania Twain is dun, 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 let's go girls.
That was a commercial, right? That was like for shampoo or something.
Probably. I mean, or makeup
maybe. Yeah.
I mean, the song's got a good like. I mean, it's catchy.
Sure.
Feel like a woman. Something about something.
He's fading out over there.
With your hairs in the sun, you put your shoes on. Something, woman. Dun, dun. I don't know. I was there though at a Shania Twain concert. It's like, this is weird. I had to get out more, I think, is part of it.
I mean, you should probably turn your clothes right side in if you do.
You see me squinting at you, Dan?
I do. I see you squinting at me.
I see you squinting.
But I'm not the one wearing clothes inside out.
Aren't you?
I'm not. They're all
Can you
correct.
actually confirm that right now?
Mm-hmm. I can. Shirt, front, pants, front.
They're all front.
Socks, right side.
Everything's facing the right
Underwear.
direction.
I'm just checking for a fly.
Okay.
So
I didn't say that. Everything is facing the correct direction.
Okay. It is all also inside the correct way. The inside is inside.
I'm sorry. I'm Dan Sinker, and I know how to turn my clothes the right way in.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, why don't you just show off about it?
Okay.
Dan, what else is in the news?
I don't know. Because like I said, I walked in 10 minutes before we started. Right. I had not looked at the news.
Well, should we just...
It's okay. I think people figured out quite a while ago
that this one has no notes.
We were just going to riff today.
Let's see here. I'm just going to tell you some headlines. Putin has arrived in North Korea. That's nice.
No, that's nice. Great.
That's great. Massachusetts 911 system is down.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And Fauci talks about correcting Trump at a 2020 briefing. Let's see here. The Boeing CEO is going to have to go in front of Senate and explain why they let a whole bunch of parts that were defective that they were hiding somewhere get into sort of the general part.
Oh, good.
you know, diet pool. Clearly, they had a bunch of defective parts. And I guess instead of like destroying them, they're like, we're going to put all of our these defective, scary parts that cause the plane to fall out of the sky. I guess we're going to keep them. We're going to keep them over here. And okay. And there's like one guy, and they're like, your job. Okay, you've got to make sure that nothing from here gets into the plane box. All right.
Yep.
Remember, we got 2 boxes. One with the broken parts and one with the good parts. Make sure that nothing from here goes into here. That's it. That's your only job. Okay.
Sounds great, boss. Yep. I was paying all of the attention. No problem.
All right. I'm going to leave you to it and trust it.
Yep. You can count on me.
All right. Got to go.
Okay. I'm going to just put them all together. I think that's what he said for me to do.
How does this even happen, Dan, that you have
like
a bunch
that.
of defective plane parts?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, I don't know, getting rid of them.
Yeah, that seems like the
melting them down, they kept them and then put them into circulation.
Yeah.
And
I mean, who among us?
They're not 100% sure where they're at.
Yeah.
They like just kind of know they're not where they're supposed to be, and they're probably in planes, but they seem to not know like 100% what planes.
Maybe they're just riding around the back of someone's station wagon. They don't know.
Stares at you as someone going on tour.
Taking a big tour bus, right?
Taking a plane
Maureen
every day.
Johnson Express.
Taking a plane every day to a different city.
Nah, it's fine.
Dan, I'm not going to lie that I did check. I was like, Virgin Atlantic, they fly Airbus. Great.
Yeah, but can't you only go like 2 places on Virgin Atlantic?
So what?
Okay.
Maybe I'll just go to those places.
Yeah, like I'm exclusively appearing in New York and London. Have fun, everyone.
They go other places, just not internal in the United States.
Right. That's
You can't go anywhere internal, but I could go lots of other places.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I could probably go to Hawaii.
All right.
They do fly to Hawaii. I bet I could take a flight from like New York to Hawaii. Maybe.
That would be a long flight.
Well, on an Airbus.
The flight from Chicago to Cincinnati is hilarious. It's one of those flights that just goes up and down. It never goes straight.
My hope is that some of these flights are so short that the plane doesn't get more than like 10 feet up.
Yeah, totally.
That's how I think how planes work. Yeah.
Just drives very fast on the highway.
But, like the St. Louis to Chicago's are pretty quick.
Yeah, that's one of those up and downs.
So I'm really trying to keep it. Although, they say you crash closest to home. So, like.
I mean, you could drive that, though. It's like 5 hours, St. Louis to
Man,
Chicago.
why are you duct taping yourself to the seat?
Hey, do you want to know something?
Sure.
Says Who is made possible.
Whoa, are you really leaving?
I have another thing in 4 minutes, and I've done these with 4. They take a while. Says Who is made possible by you through your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/sayswho. Our Patreon, where pretty much every Sunday, though spoiler alert, not this Sunday, because my Saturday kind of looks like my day today. But most of the time you get this all over again. You get me and Maureen doing a thing we call the Town Watch. That is if you give it the $5 or $10 a month level. That $10 a month level gets you a sticker in the mail every month because you become a member of the Says Who sticker club. Maureen, while we were recording, as I aforementioned, I sent over the originals to the sticker printer this morning. And as we were recording, I got a note back and it said, there's action needed. Respond to comments. And I opened the comments and the comments said, there are too many stickers on this sticker sheet. We can only make a maximum of 30 stickers on a sticker sheet. And you want me to make 34. So that's a problem.
That's kind of messing up
my whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is just blew up.
I'm going to write him back and be like, but the whole thing.
Is that going to be your email reply?
Yeah,
but the whole
be
thing,
like, you got to fix this,
sir.
Like, God damn it!
It's like you in the drive-through. Can you
might
just
have to make a couple of little cut lines and just have people cut their own for?
Can you
a few of them?
Sir, hi, hey kid, can you just make 34 stickers for me? I just need you to make
I just
34
thought
stickers.
that was a reasonable number. They're all on one page. Doesn't say. It says sticker sheet. Doesn't say maximum of 30 stickers. Just because nobody's tried it doesn't mean that, that's all I'm saying.
Dan, you just got very twitchy.
I'm upset about it.
You literally start to kind of
But
bawl.
also, I'm like, I need to fix this somehow in no time. Anyway, patreon.com/sayswho. Our theme music was performed by Ted Leo, who is heading out on tour to commemorate, I believe, the 20th anniversary of the Shake the Sheets album, performing it everywhere, coming through Chicago, coming through a bunch of places. Go check it out. It's so good. Our logo is designed by Darth. You can contact us at SaysWho Podcast on Threads or at SaysWho at omfg.town on Mastodon. You can email it, hey, that is HEY at SaysWhoPodcast.com. Join the discussion on Facebook at /group/SaysWhovians. Our Facebook group is moderated by Janice Dillard. If you want to join the fan-run Discord server, you can do that too at tinyurl.com/SaysWhoDiscord. Whatever you do, spread the word, subscribe, please leave stars and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, for some reason, or wherever it is that you listen. And you can join us next Wednesday, the 26th of June. That's one day before the big event, Maureen.
Oh my
very
God.
Next episode. From my basement, where it's nice and cool in Chicago, I am Dan Sinker.
I'm having a big thing on the 25th, Dan. I'll be very excited that day. I'm gonna be the one being like, I gotta go because hair and makeup are coming. Is it like a big
sandwich?
No, it's like hair and makeup will be coming to my house that day.
Are you getting married?
No, I have an event that night.
Oh, okay.
A secret, can't talk about it.
Okay.
Event for a Death at Morning House that night. Yeah, but I can't say what I can't say what it is. All I said was an event.
Is it a clown?
What? No.
Is it a hot dog eating contest?
Dan, are all your ideas of events kind of stuck at the level of like a 7-year-old?
Yes.
What else could it be? A slip and slide party?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Oh, I would love to go to a slip and slide party.
A slip and slide. You know what would break either of us nowadays? A slip and
slide, yeah.
I remember one time in the 70s, my cousin, but it was in my grandma's backyard. They had a slip and slide set up, but it had a little tear in it. And my cousin went sliding across the tear and basically gashed herself open from top to bottom. It was insane. It was like we went from like fun 70s childhood to a Saw franchise in a second.
How did that even happen? Because it's just like soft vinyl.
Yeah, but it's soft vinyl that, like, if there's a tear in it, it is not soft. It's like, yeah, it was wild. Anyway, from your office.
He's bouncing like a little bird right now.
That's because I got to go. Like it's 2:01. I'm 1 minute late for the next thing.
I've been worried about this.
This has been SaysWho.